Hello guys, how are you doing? My name is Haiza and today we will be talking about very British expressions that you might not know, but you need to know because if you're living here in the UK, oh my friend, if you don't know, you will struggle. If you are my student, you know what this word means. Is struggle. When you struggle, it's like painful, it's difficult, it's going through something that is very difficult to deal with. Okay, so if you're here and you don't know these expressions, you will struggle, and that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here to help you, just walk into this British life with flair and with happiness and with glamour. All right, let's do this. The first British word that I really want you to know, and that you should know because you will hear it a lot, especially if you live in the countryside, is reckon. Reckon. So reckon is when you are giving an opinion. For example, let's say that you look at the weather forecast and then you say,
Haiza, I think it's going to rain tomorrow.
Instead of saying I think, you can say I reckon it's going to rain tomorrow. I reckon it's going to rain tomorrow. Or I reckon it will rain tomorrow. It doesn't matter. You can use both. So reckon is used when you are giving an opinion. I will give you another example. The second example with reckon, imagine that you go into a party or an event and you don't know exactly what to dress. And then you come to your friends or come to your partner or your wife or your boyfriend and you say,
I don't know what to dress for the party. What do you reckon?
So when you ask someone, what do you reckon? You want to know their opinion, okay? So it's a really common word here in the British vocabulary. Now, the third and last example with reckon. You probably have a team that you root for, right? For example, in São Paulo, we have 4 football teams that are the main ones that people root for. We have Corinthians, Palmeiras, São Paulo, Santos. So for example, imagine that there's going to be a football match between São Paulo and Santos. Then you might come to your friends and say, I reckon São Paulo is going to win. Yeah, I reckon São Paulo is going to win. So when you say I reckon São Paulo is going to win, you mean I think São Paulo is going to win. So to reckon or to think is to give your opinion, ok? Momento bilíngue. Cuidado, porque o reckon é para dar opiniões. Ele é normalmente o nosso achar. Então não vai achando que você pode usar o reckon como se fosse pensar em alguém, pensar sobre. Não. O reckon é usado como achismo. Então, o que você acha? Eu acho. Ele acha. Então, você pode usar reckon de diversas formas, ok? Back to English now. Let's go to the next one. The next very British word that you, if you are my student, you already know this one, which is fancy. Fancy. Fancy can mean two things. Let's say, for example, I think Julia Roberts, when she goes to Oscars, when she goes to Golden Globes and all these fancy events, she's always very fancy. So fancy is when you look very elegant, okay? So fancy can mean elegant, but fancy here in the UK also means something else. Fancy means to want. So for example, let's say that you go to a pub with your friend and you say,
Fancy a pint? Fancy a coffee?
You're not going to the pub to have a coffee, but anyway, Haiza, let's just leave this aside for a moment. But yeah, you can use fancy as ways to express something that you want. So for example, I can say, I fancy some pasta. I fancy going to the beach. What do you fancy tonight? What do you fancy doing?
What do you fancy?
Fish fingers and beans.
Good choice.
So fancy usually means querer. It is very used here in the UK. But be careful, because fancy is also used in the sense of wanting to get romantically involved with someone. So for example, let's say that you are single, you are watching me and you are single, and there is someone at work that you find really attractive. And you say, I fancy that girl. Oh, I fancy that guy. When you say you fancy someone, it means that you are physically attracted to that person or that you like that person. So come with me. You can use fancy to say that someone looks elegant. You can use fancy to say that you want something, usually related to food or drinks, okay? In 3, you can use fancy to say that you want to get romantically involved with someone, that you want that person, that you want to snog. Snog is also a very British expression, which is going to be the third one of today, which means to dar uns amassos aqui, ó. Snog significa dar uns amassos. For example, let's say that you saw 2 people that you work with at the back, I don't know, of the office or something like that, and you see them like they are snogging. So this is like they are snogging, okay? I will give you another example with snog.
I never snogged with a man with a beard.
Mentira! Lucas mesmo, my partner has a beard sometimes, but anyway. So I never snogged with a man with a beard means, ai, eu nunca dei uns amassos com cara de barba. Ai, que mentira! Que mentira! Mas agora você sabe que snog is a British idiom, é uma gíria britânica to talk about dar uns amassos. The next very British expression, or idiom actually, is not exactly an expression, is a word, an idiom, é uma gíria, is quid. Quid. Quid means quanto. If you are from São Paulo, I think other parts of Brazil as well, but when you go to a place and say, é 5 conto. So it's 5 quid, 10 quid, 100 quid. Quid is an idiom, é uma gíria, novamente, essa palavra para decorar na mente de vocês. Quid is an idiom to talk about money. Money, yes. So it's conto, and you're gonna hear this a lot in here. So you need to know this one, okay? So for example, if somebody asks me, hi Isa, how much did you pay for your phone? Well, my phone, it wasn't very expensive. It's Android, so it's not as expensive as an iPhone. But I paid 200 quid. I paid 200 quid. So quid, now you know, quid means money. Talking about food. Yes, talking about food, honey. Have you ever heard the expression peckish or famish? Yeah, these are very common expressions here in the UK as well, used in the UK and in Ireland, which means tô com fome, I'm hungry. Actually, you usually use peckish when, for example, you start to get hungry. You are not exactly like famish, like famish is like when you are really, really hungry, you are like you want to kill someone because you are hungry. But when you are peckish is when, like, you know that feeling in your stomach when you start feeling hungry, you say, oh, I'm a bit peckish, I'm peckish. Okay, so peckish is an expression to talk about food. Okay, word number 6. Have you ever heard someone saying, oh, wait a second, where's the loo?
Do you know what the loo is?
Oh, I need to go to the loo. So loo is an expression, is a word, is an idiom to talk about toilet. Toilet, yes. If you need to go to the toilet and you are very British, probably you use, I need to go to the loo. Where is the loo? So repeat after me. Loo. Loo. Yes. Is a bit like weird, right? But it's loo. No. Loo. Pay attention. Is extended. Loo. Is such a pretty word for something that is very nasty that you're about to do, right? Number 1, number 2, you don't know. But yeah, loo is totally British, okay? If you ask me why they call it loo, there's lots of different theories about that, but basically I think it's something related to Waterloo, because Waterloo, Waterloo, the War of Waterloo, something like that. But it doesn't matter. What it matters is that loo is very British, and you need to know that to make your journey here in the UK as smooth as it can possibly be. Let's go to the next one.
Oh, you see that bloke over there? Can you see that bloke? What is that bloke doing?
What do you think bloke means? What do you think bloke means? Bloke. Bloke means guy. Yeah, it's the same thing. Cara, aquele cara ali. Bloke. Only used for men, not used for girls, so please be careful with that. Bloke is a British way to talk about guys, okay? So, for example,
Luke is a nice bloke.
Oh, Paul is a very intelligent bloke, isn't he? Joe is a very grumpy bloke. Bloke is guy. Did you know about that one? Probably not. Word number 8, and this one I've already talked about on Crazy English, and is dodgy. You know when you talk to someone and you think the person or some things that this person is saying, they are kind of suspicious, they are kind of awkward, strange, odd. This is dodgy in British English. It's like when you find it strange, dodgy. It's dodgy, something suspicious. Okay, so you can say that a person is dodgy, you can say that a thing is dodgy, or you can even say, for example, in another context, when you say, for example, the chair is a bit dodgy. When the chair is a bit dodgy, momento bilíngue. Sabe quando a cadeira tá meio que bamboleando assim, ó, tá meio manca? Você mexe na cadeira e tá aquele blá, 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 blá. This is dodgy. Você também pode falar que ela tá dodgy. Tem outras maneiras de falar, tá, gente? Mas essa é uma das maneiras. Então ela tá meio bambeando. So dodgy is a word that is used to express something that is not very, maybe reliable. Okay, so as reliable, it means confiável. For example, when you say,
Oh, that person is kind of dodgy.
is that you find that person weird in some way. Okay, this one is very, very used. I will give you all the example with dodgy because this is a very common one and you need to know. If you say, for instance,
Oh, this is a dodgy business. You should not do business with these people. This is a dodgy agreement. This is a dodgy business.
it means that probably is dishonest, that probably has something suspicious related to it. Okay, so be careful with this one. Now, let's talk about the next two that are very related. The first one is area or vicinity. Area or vicinity are the words used to talk about neighborhood. Because neighborhood, it means bairro, but neighborhood is very used in the US and not in the UK. Maybe in Ireland, but definitely not in the UK. They don't use neighborhood here. Usually to talk about your neighborhood, they will say, oh, my area or my vicinity. Older people usually, they say my vicinity or my area. My area is people like more like my age. But when people are older, they use vicinity. And vicinity and area, they can be good, like nice area. For example, Kensington in London is a very posh, a very nice area. So posh is like very rich, people with money, very fancy. Olha lá o fancy, very fancy. So posh is like, oh, é muito posh, muito royal. So Kensington is a royal area, is a posh area. It's a very nice area, right? However, if you go to the east side of London, which is usually poor in some parts, like Hackney or maybe Clapton, these areas are more kind of rough. What does it mean, rough? Rough is when you're talking about an area or a vicinity and you say, it's a bit rough. It's a bit rough. It's like, é meio, num termo pejorativo do português, eu usaria assim, meio maluqueiro, é meio perigoso, é meio, sabe, não... Toma cuidado com o celular, toma cuidado com as coisas. Do you know what I mean? So it's not an area that there are people with money, okay? So usually it's an area where people with lower income, renda mais baixa, live, and they usually use it rough. Okay, very common British like people saying that. I will give you another example. Southend, where I live, it's 50-50. There are some areas that are really posh and there are some areas that are really, really rough. Okay, I live in a kind of like middle ground area, okay, here in Southend. But there are some other parts that, oh my golly, is crazy. Okay, it's really, really rough. All right, so now you know that rough, it's used to talk about areas or vicinity, which are terms used to describe neighborhood. Okay, so don't use neighborhood here, use area or vicinity. The next very, 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 very British expression is blimey. Blimey. Oh my God. Blimey. Blimey is a way to express surprise. Yes, to express surprise. So let's say that you are watching a TV program like, I don't know, Naked Attraction. Have you ever seen this program? If you have never seen this program, you're not missing out. Definitely not missing out on anything. But the first time I watched this program, I was like, blimey. Because it's a bunch of naked people that just, show up on TV and say, oh, I want to date that guy, I want to date that guy, or I want to date that girl. And they are completely naked. Yes. So when you say blimey, it's like, oh my God, blimey. You're surprised. You're like, my goodness, what is this about? So I bet that everybody's going to stop this video now and is gonna go on YouTube at this very moment just to understand what naked attraction is. Well, it was shocking. It was really, really shocking to me. But anyway, o Blime é o nosso nossa, que a gente vive falando português. Eles têm o deles, que é o Blime. Agora você sabe. Okay? The next one, last one for this video is knackered. Knackered. You can also say knackered. If you feel more comfortable using the American pronunciation, it's completely fine, my friend. You can say knackered because we are all Brazilians, you know what I mean? So it's just like, just use what it makes you feel more comfortable, okay? But in my case, I like the British pronunciation. So knackered. Imagine that you had an exhausting day. You are really, really tired. You can't even have a shower. So tired you are. So you can say, I'm knackered. I'm knackered. Oh my God. What day is this? I don't want to do anything. I just want to go to bed. So if you say that you feel that you are really, really tired, you can say, I'm knackered. You can also say, I'm shattered. You know, shatter means, is when you, for example, you have a jar of glass, you know, you have a glass, it can be a glass, and then you drop it on the floor and it just like shatters. So shattered, it means when you are really, really tired. The same goes for knackered. They are just two words that express the same thing. So this is the first one of a series of videos that I will be talking about British expressions to make your life easier in the UK. Okay, so do the exercises, have a look on everything I've been sending to you, because probably it won't be only this video, right? Because I know you need to practice, you need to write, you know what I mean? I know I am a student as well, and I need to have a paper in front of me to practice. Okay, so hope you guys enjoyed it. Go do the exercise. See you next time.